What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Yo, we're back again with another live. And yes, we're gonna be chopping up a little bit, man. We're gonna be chopping it up a little bit with the breaking news that's just been dropped. Probably like earlier today. It ain't really that breaking to be honest, but it did drop earlier today about Arsenal possibly signing the Wonder Kid from Real Madrid, Arda Güler. Yeah, in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. Like Arsenal are looking at bringing in a new player, and you know what? I'll take it. I will take it for sure because we've seen over the years, right? There have been plenty of opportunities for this team to elevate themselves, and so many missed opportunities. And I want to back it up a little bit and think about in terms of what's needed for this team, right? They're going through a little bit of a rough patch. The international break came at the right time for them to kind of hit like that reset button. A lot of players that would have gone with their respective countries kind of had to sit out because of injuries. Um, so the squad is in a state of there needs to be some urgency. There needs to be a resurgent that they have to have. It's almost like inevitable. There is no other choice right now at this moment because we're getting to the pivotal time of the season where this is the last international break of the year. We already know if you do follow the Premier League that during the Christmas period, that's when the schedule, I must say, gets crazy, And for this squad, right, going into next year, it needs at least for the time being, it needs some like a kick up the backside, man. It needs something that can really elevate them because we're looking at a squad, right, that is running thin due to injuries, and of course, that's nobody's fault. Like injuries happen, that's a part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So this squad definitely needs like a resurgent. It needs a like a kick up the backside. And do I think and will I say that Arda Güler would provide that? I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know. I don't know if that's the player that is needed. We have the likes of Odegaard. We have the likes of Wanyeri. Trossard have been playing in that role as well. We're talking about that number 10 role, right? We had players that played in that role. And so far this season, it ain't really been, um, glowing. Let's just say that. And it's when I think about it, right? It's how do I put this, man? It's frustrating to say the least, right? It's frustrating to say the least, just because we see the talent in someone like Ethan Wanyeri, right? Talented kid. I think the whole league, hands down, can say, all right, we see something in this kid, right? And for some reason, the manager is reserved to play him. Um, Martin Odegaard been injured for the better half of the season, or for the most part of the season, I should say. And Trossard have been playing in that role. And yeah, he leaves much to be desired, to be honest. But you know what? Um, is this a player that could come into the side and actually, you know what I'm saying? Like elevate it to heights that can take it over the line? Because listen, for the last 2 years, Arsenal have been vying for the Premier League title and obviously come up short due to, it being Man City that they're going up against. So for me, right, Arsenal needs a goal scoring player in a nutshell. Also, do need somebody that could come in and put the ball in the back of the net. Simply put, you know, and going after Arda Guler, we've seen what he's done in the Euros, and obviously is a player that was well sought off before he went to Real Madrid. Real Madrid actually got his signature, and you know what? I think this could be speculative just due to the fact that he hasn't been getting much game time at Real Madrid for some reason or the other. Kind of like what Ethan is going through at Arsenal, you know? So it is it is interesting to see. It is interesting to see what will come up this. Is this just like internet rumor, kind of putting two and two together? Arsenal needs a player, not necessarily in that number 10 role. They just really need players that could put the ball in the back of the net. But is it something that, you know, like I said, journalists do this all the time, right? They put two and two together. They try to, okay, if this is going on, maybe this could be the outcome. Because at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to get ahead in terms of trying to get a story out first, right? No one is actually verifying, dotting all I's and crossing all T's. It's really just who's first. It's kind of like the internet, man, or this YouTube game. It's the early bird, gets the first worm, and so a lot of these journalists kind of like jump the gun in terms of making up stories, and this could be just another made up story just to kind of like get the feathers ruffled. Listen, it is the international break. I know it's kind of coming to an end for a lot of nations, but slow story period. Games aren't being played. You kind of have to conjure up something just to kind of like get the juices flowing. They ass is going to work every day, and they need something to talk about. So they probably just put out this story just to kind of like, yeah, let's conjure up something, to get the masses talking. And for me, if it is true, if this is indeed true, yeah, I'll definitely take him in a heartbeat. I mean, it is a player of great talent. I don't know if he solely plays on the or in that number 10 position. I'm almost sure that he does drift out to the right as well in terms of position. And I know that sometimes that's something that the manager likes. He likes a player that is very versatile. So it'll be interesting to see, man, if this indeed does come to fruition. So yeah, this is one of the breaking stories that is circulating around the internet today. Arda Guler and Arsenal have some interest, as put out there by certain sources. Now, I must caveat that by saying that it's not a permanent signing. The story states that it is for a loan, or a season-long loan. So we just caveat that by saying it is a loan deal. So they're not looking to sell him, which would be crazy because they just acquired him. But it is a season-long loan to Arsenal, which, in my opinion, Arsenal need all the help they could get. So I wouldn't turn my nose up at the possibility of him going to Arsenal. Now, moving on, in other news, um, like I said previously, international break is coming to an end. And in fairness, man, some of these games are actually pretty banging. Let me actually, you know what? I forgot to do some housekeeping here in a second. Give me a second, y'all, because not me. As we over here struggle streaming already, man. It's all good though, but I'm gonna be here for a little bit. just input this poll real quick. As y'all comment, do the normal YouTube stuff, like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all for popping in, whoever do pop in, and feel free to state your opinion on in regards to the video. Give me a second. It's funny. It's always funny every time I get on live, right? That's when my phone wanna go off. It never fails, man. It never freaking fails. But hold on. Oh, give me a second. I'm Nah, let's not do that. We won't do that right now. But we're gonna be on for a minute, man. We're gonna be chopping it up, talking about, like I said, we're gonna be talking about Arthur. See if that is something that will do, or will, I should say, come into fruition. Is it just kind of like journalists conjuring up stories just because they ain't got nothing else to talk about, or is this for real? As y'all come in, as y'all see the thumbnail, man, y'all see the title. Let me know y'all opinion. Voice your opinion, of course. Let me see here. My bad, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. I know it's been like a long, awkward pause, but give me a second here. All right. Yeah, we good. Just had to do a little bit of housekeeping there real quick. But yeah, y'all. Real quick, as soon as you come in, man, just like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're just chopping it up about, transfer news in regards to the Premier League and what's circulating the internet, really, man. Really and truly. So the big news today is Arda Güler is being chased by Arsenal, rumored At least, let me not make it sound like it's definitive. It's a rumor that Arsenal are chasing Arda Güler for a season-long loan um, to come to the Emirates, and it is something that's circulating the internet at the moment. How truthful this is, um, nobody really knows, to be honest with you. And in other news, we started talking about the international break and some of the games that actually happened this past weekend, man. I mean, a game like England smashing Ireland, that was a really good game. Jude Bellingham kind of showed himself. Kind of showed like the qualities that he had of last year that kind of even got him in the running of the Ballon d'Or. You know, kind of adored him in the Real Madrid eyes. He showed some of those qualities. And I know, listen, let's be real. It is Ireland at the end of the day. So to really glow about, that performance, not to be disingenuous, because at the end of the day, you just can play who's in front of you. But it is Ireland at the end of the day. Aren't world beaters, but putting that aside, it was a really good performance by Jude Bellingham, and it was a performance that, may can get the Real Madrid fans talking again. They're quite a bit behind Barcelona in the table, so it is going to take, I want to say something miraculous, but it is going to take quite a bit of work to climb back up to the top. They being the defending champions of La Liga, it would have been a better showing for them to kind of put more of a challenge towards Barcelona. But, we've kind of seen these things before in La Liga. Teams have jumped out to the league and then been clawed back into a title race. So it's not all done in gloom. You know, things can happen. It is still fairly early in the season across all the leagues. So, to say that Real Madrid can come back and, make it an actual title race would be asinine of me to say, but it is going to be interesting to see. It is going to be interesting to see. Other games that was of note was Bucharest and Sweden. Um, listen, oh my God, man, the fact that Bucharest is still playing at Sporting, which I know it's not a case of if but when for him. I know he's gonna get that big money move. So, in my opinion, it's just crazy that he's gone for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like not getting that move. And in fairness, it was, I don't say a one season wonder, but it was a season for the books that he did last year. So I get how teams could have been a little bit hesitant in terms of, splashing out the money towards Sporting to get him. But now he's doubling down on what he did last season and actually showing that he is the quality that people may have suspected. And at the end of the day, it is a Portuguese league. So take that for what it may be. So a lot of people could say, oh, well, can he do it in one of the top five leagues around Europe? That's to be seen. But Erling Haaland was killing it in the Bundesliga. You know what I'm saying? So, and okay, a counter could be the Bundesliga is a top five European league. So maybe that's not the best of examples. But a lot of people downplay players that play in, let's say, if they don't play in La Liga or they don't play in the Premier League, you know, it's not deemed that they're of the quality. And we've seen that debunked plenty of times. Players from Ligue 1, players from Serie A, those players come over to one of these big leagues, say the Premier League or La Liga, and smash it. So if and when, not if, but when he does make that move, it'd be interesting to see what team he goes to, and also which team gets it. And all signs and all roads point to Manchester United just for the mere fact that it's his old coach that is currently the manager. And will he go there and smash it? Of late, Manchester United has been, talent killers. So him going to Manchester United right now at this point is looking like sleeping giants, right? They're looking like a team that is just waiting for England, you know, just to burst through. And when it bangs, it's gonna bang, and it's gonna be annoying because it's Manchester United at the end of the day, and no big team with the resources and the fan base that they have, like a Manchester United, can stay in the depths of obscurity for too long, just for the mere fact that it's just the law of football, and that resurgence when it does happen, it's gonna be unbearable because the fan base of Manchester United is so big and so wide that when they do come back to the glory days, oh man, oh man, oh man, it's just gonna be, oh my god, it's just. I'm dreading that day, Red. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Red. I'm dreading that day to see Manchester United back in glory, really. Because when I tell you, I'm gonna back it up real quick for my childhood, right? Um, so I'm an Arsenal fan. If no one could have ever guessed that, or you just popping in and just like, who the fuck is this guy? So I'm an Arsenal fan, and I came to like Arsenal through Thierry Henry, right? That was my favorite player growing up. I emulated, tried to play like him. I played on the left wing and sometimes striker. So, for me, my game was, blah, blah, blah. All Henry, right? All my friends, right? I had a sprinkle of Liverpool fans, sprinkle of Chelsea, but majority of my friends were Manchester United. And we're talking about early 2000 here, right? So you know where I'm going with this, right? Apart from the invincible season, yeah, it was Manchester United terrorizing my childhood, man. Terrorizing my childhood, especially when Cristiano Ronaldo pulled up. Oh my God, that was a hard time to be an Arsenal fan, man, because we just getting it left and right, especially that game. I know if y'all Ronaldo fans or y'all know of that Manchester United Arsenal kind of like rivalry, I should say. You know that game where Ronaldo was like toying with Arsenal defense. If you know what I'm talking about, put it down in the chat, man. You know that game where Arsenal was getting terrorized by Cristiano Ronaldo, man. Man, let me tell you something, man. Ronaldo and Manchester United terrorized my childhood, man. And I was just like, it's funny because like I was supposed to, growing up as an Arsenal fan, I'm supposed to hate Tottenham. That's our fierce rivals, on paper, yada yada, right? I never really felt that hatred towards Tottenham, and I'm gonna keep it a book. I never really felt that hatred towards Tottenham. Maybe because I didn't live in England, I didn't live in London. I don't know. I'd say I don't know the history, but obviously reading up on it and watching YouTube videos, maybe I caught myself up. But in its entirety, I don't know the true vitriol and the true hatred that Arsenal and Tottenham have. So for me, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm not supposed to like Tottenham, but in my heart to heart, it was kind of like, who are they? Because they don't win anything. They I don't know any Tottenham fans. That also helped. So for me, Tottenham was kind of like, no, whatever. But when we talk about Manchester United, Man U, United, the Red Devils, yeah, that whole club can burn and all their fans with it, of course. figuratively speaking. I don't mean that. Before somebody kind of clip me up and say, "Oh yeah, look what this nigga talking about." Yeah, I'm talking figuratively speaking. You know, in sports, really. Yeah, I freaking hate everything Manchester United, man, to the core. So if they come back to the glory days, man, yeah, it's gonna be a long, 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 long day. You know what I mean? Because we talking about, like I said, we talking about my childhood, bro. We talking about early 2000s, growing up, seeing, I seen, I seen two titles for my team. Right, I'm talking from the time I started supporting my team. I've seen two titles. Every title after that has been Chelsea and Manchester United. And like I said, I had a sprinkle of Chelsea friends that were Chelsea fans, right? So, whatever. You know, what hurt more with them, I would say, is when Chelsea won the Champions League. The first time Chelsea won the Champions League, that's when it was like, oh, well. that's when it got real, man. That's when it got real. But apart from that, whatever. I didn't really care too much about say Chelsea fans, but Manchester United fans, man, yeah, it was tough sledding, man. It was genuinely tough sledding, but that's it's all good though. For the time being, they're in the depth. I mean, they're like 13th or something crazy in the league, man. Nothing of note, man. They've been hella trash that season. Let me see. I guess I can check it on my phone. I'm almost sure they ain't nowhere near. Yeah, 13th, sitting on 15 points. Almost, they're 13 points behind the leaders, Liverpool. Now, can they make that up? I guess. It's only 11 games that's been played in the Premier League, so it's not nothing that's crazy that they can't, reel back. You know, Arsenal are 9 points behind the damn leaders, and everybody's writing the season off. So just imagine Manchester United sitting in 13th and 13 points off the top. Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. And we can already. I don't think that anybody expects them to do anything this season, but I will say though, getting a bad boy coach does help, and for them, it will be interesting to see. But yeah, you're right, man. Liverpool are better. Let me just keep it real. Liverpool are better. Liverpool right now is the best team in the league, hands down, and it's quite obvious. But I will say though, in my heart of hearts, and this is not even me just being petty or me just try to hold on to a little bit of hope. I do think Liverpool can be caught though. I'm not saying that because it's a case of oh yeah, I expect it to happen, but it'd be different if it was City that was, you know what I'm saying, like 9 points ahead. I'll be like yeah, it's done. But for me, I think it's the depth or the squad of Liverpool, right? If y'all get that bad boy DM that y'all are really seeking, if Liverpool get that bad boy DM that they've been seeking, I think they could, run away with this title, honestly. And a striker. Yeah, if Liverpool get a striker, right, and a DM, I mean the chances of them doing that in January is probably slim because Liverpool or Mises, they cheap as hell, man. That club is cheap as hell. So I don't think they're gonna splash the cash, especially if they're at the top of the league. They definitely gonna spend the money. So But I will say though, excuse me, if y'all do get that striker, I think no, actually more that DM. Um, if y'all do get that DM in January, yeah, I think it's a wrap. I'd say a wrap, but it definitely is going to be a lot harder to catch Liverpool if they do get that DM. But we just got to wait and see, man. It's 11 games in. There's so many things that could change. Really and truly, the only time in a season, unless it's like one of them seasons, like that season that Liverpool just won, like I think it was by January they already had won like 20 games, to one loss or to one draw. They didn't even lose. Um, they didn't have a loss at that time. So unless it's one of those seasons where it's like just obvious somebody's running away with it, every other season though, or a regular season like this so far is a regular season, we can't start looking at that table until say February, man. Ending of February, starting of March. That's when we can definitively say, all right, barring, maybe one or two, changes, this is a table, you know. So that is only time that I can see where, what I'm saying, like if say come March, right? And I'm actually, let's say February. If say come February and teams, it's still Liverpool, right, at the top, but Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever else is vying for the title, are say 4 points. Let's say let's even put it at six. Say 6 points off the top, right? It's game on still, man. It's game on still, especially when it comes down to that April, March, April time period where you're playing sometimes two Premier League games in the week. Yeah, that 6 points that you have can turn, sour real quick in a week. You know what I'm saying? So we really just got to start watching that league when it comes down to say ending of March, starting of February, and I'm sorry, ending of February, starting of March. That's when we can look at the league and say, all right, you know, look at the top four and kind of like gauge and be like, all right, we can see who's in the title race, who's in the top four race, who's more than likely gonna get relegated. And yes, it's not definitive. Of course, a lot of things can happen within that time period because it's still, when you come down to even that time period, you still got about, you know, 10 or so games left to play. So a lot can happen as well in that time period, you know. But it'd be interesting to see, man. This title race this season is going to be interesting, just to the mere fact that we got the big boys, with their most important player out, which is Rodri, for sure, is City's most important player. So he's going to be out for the season. So it'd be interesting to see if they go into the January window, you know, and if they, oh God, they're another team too. If they go into the January window, man, and get somebody that can fill his role, and they probably will get somebody that, looking into the future when he does return, kind of to soften his load, kind of like to ease him back a little bit, you know. He's gonna get taken off a lot more times, stuff like that. They could go out and splash in January, man. Just looking at, how they've operated over the years, they don't really kind of sit back. They don't usually use the reactive type of way of dealing with their business. They're really more proactive, So it'd be interesting to see, man, if they go in and get a DM, for themselves. Two teams that, if they get that DM position, man, it's gonna be peak for a lot of people because that's the missing piece. right now. A striker kind of like for Liverpool, they kind of like looking at a striker like, oh yeah, we could use a striker, but it's not a dire need. But that DM, yes, and Gravenberg has been killing it in that position, right? But in terms of squad depth and in terms of getting somebody that actually plays the role, he's been filling in quite nicely. But somebody that actually plays the role, yeah, if Liverpool get that player, it's gonna be a long day for a lot of teams, that's trying to catch him. And then also, if Man City get a DM, yeah, I think we could see the city of old. And of course, if De Bruyne can stay healthy for the most part of the season, if Holland can stay healthy for the most part of the season, they're just gonna be right up there as well. They're just going through a bad patch as well. But to think that they are not gonna be a team that's vying for everything in all fronts, it would be crazy to bet against them. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. The international break is over. It's the last one for the year. So from here on out till the New Year's, it's gonna be all football, all games with no breaks, especially that Christmas period, man. Um, them games gonna be coming back to back every 3 or 4 days. Teams gonna be playing games, and that's kind of where a lot of teams either elevate themselves or they fall off. Just because those games are so quick and fast, the turnaround is so sudden. And for a team that's been injury plagued, say like an Arsenal, Man City, it's gonna be interesting to see how they operate during the Christmas period, just because their squad are running fairly thin at the moment. So I know a lot of players are gonna be coming back in terms of, say, for Arsenal. City only really have one long-term injury that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, Everybody else is slowly coming back as well. I know De Bruyne is back, um, and for the most part, their squad is still one of the best squads in the entirety of the world. So, in terms of them coping, I think they'll be doing just fine. They'll be doing just fine. But moving on to something that I was thinking, that was interesting, right? Is the upcoming games this weekend. You know, Looking at the schedule, some interesting games, man. This weekend, it right off bat, the first game of the weekend is that Leicester versus Chelsea game, and listen, Leicester is one of the candidates that's expected to go right back down. So, um, do I expect an automatic win for Chelsea? Chelsea have been showing their what this season, man, and actually been showing that their project is about to bang. you know, so do I think it's an easy win for Chelsea? I wouldn't say an easy win, but it is an expected win. Chelsea are playing at Leicester. Um, you know what? We're gonna be up for that one, man, and we're gonna try to we're gonna do a watch along for that game this weekend, man. Yeah, we're gonna do a watch along for that game. That Chelsea versus Leicester game this weekend. Make sure y'all lock in, tune in to the channel. We're gonna be doing a watch along for that game. It's gonna be 4:30 in the morning over here on the West Coast, but I'll be up. I don't party, so I'll be up. I'll be up for the game, and we're gonna be chopping it up. Y'all come pop in, even if you just pop in, talk your shit, and pop out. Just come vibe with your boy, man. This Saturday we're gonna be doing a watch along to the Leicester City versus Chelsea game because I'm kind of interested to see that game, man. I think that game could be on upset alert. Not even gonna lie, just because it's at Leicester, it's an early kickoff. Teams usually, the bigger teams, that is. I don't know, for some reason, usually on those early kickoffs, it's very tricky when they're playing one of the lower teams. It's just one of those things. I think um, sometimes players, and this is just human nature. Sometimes players are just it's early, they're not really up for it, especially if they're playing a team that they deem they are better at or better than, I should say. So it's gonna start sluggish. All it really takes is for one goal to go in, and then things kind of just go off the rails for either team, really. Usually, if the team that is deemed better get an early goal, then okay, it becomes a little bit more relaxed. But if the underdog team gets an early goal or jumps out in the lead, that's when the better team kind of like wakes up and like, crap, we are in a game. So that'd be interesting to see, man. Um, and then right after that game is going to be the Arsenal game, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. We're also going to be doing our watch along. So we're going to be doing a long stream come Saturday, man. I'll be well prepared for that one. But we're going to be doing a long stream for that one. And no, it won't be this vertical format. The vertical format is more like it's a little bit more personal, in my opinion. Y'all let me know down in the comments if it's not. I'll switch over to say the regular or horizontal way of doing these live streams. But the vertical format is kind of like a little bit more personal. You know, I know I got like the jacket on. And really and truly, I'm kind of getting hot with these goddamn lights off. But the jacket is getting kind of nippy out here. That's the reason why I had it. But yeah, it's a little bit more personal, in my opinion. So that's why I do them. But if it's not something that people like really like, I could go to the horizontal way. But for the watch alongs, I definitely will be doing it horizontal. You know, and like I said, come Saturday, we're gonna be doing a long day, man. It's gonna be one of those. I'm gonna say it's gonna be one of them like 10-hour streams that I'll be seeing these streamers be doing, but we're gonna be on for a little while, so that'll be interesting to see. Moving on to some of the other interesting game, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. That should be a good game, man. Man City versus Tottenham, probably the game of the weekend. You know, and funny enough, Man City versus Tottenham. Tottenham has been like City's bogey team, over the years. Last year, you know, Man City went up to Tottenham and Son missed that 1-on-1, which would have basically gave Arsenal the title, which was interesting to see the reaction of a lot of the fans and especially the manager, who was very livid in terms of the reaction that he received or that he saw from the fans. Not expecting that. It's funny because I just previously spoke about it, but the actual hatred that these two teams have for each other, you know, um, and the mere fact that the fans actually wanted their team to lose just for the mere fact that Arsenal wouldn't win the title, and hey, that's a special type of hate. You actually want pain inflicted on your own self just for somebody else not to receive glory. Like I said, I'm not there, so I don't know the true hatred um, that they have. But yeah, that should be an interesting game, man. Man City versus Tottenham. Man City going through a rough patch. Tottenham been going through a rough patch for like the last 15 years. So they're used to, pain and sorrow. But it will be a game of the week for sure, of the weekend, really, for sure. Um, I don't know if I'm going to slide the watch along into that as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. But you know what? Um, we had a bunch of other little topics to cover, but I will be hopping off just for the mere fact that I got some things to do today. But I'm gonna hop back on later on today, just to like close out the day with some news. I had a couple more things I wanted to speak about, but I really do have to go. But we'll be hopping back on later on today. Come chop it up with y'all again. And you know what? This has been fun, man. It's always fun to hop on these lives and talk to people and then just talk candidly about all things football. Like I said, at the end of the day, this is a baby channel and this is a channel that I'm actually trying to grow. I do have a main channel, but my main channel is, something that I kind of do like, I wouldn't say as a hobby, but, you know, this one is the channel that I'm like, yo, this is the baby. This is the one that I want to nurture and actually build a community around of things and of interests that I love and others love. So as soon as you hop in, make sure you just like the video, subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you. And until next time,